So those were kind of like the good things that we've learned, the new things. Now we're going to go into some things that started off bad, especially in that first preseason game, which was pretty much everything. Everyone pretty much sucked. And Justin, what's one thing that you've seen that started off really bad and now is looking differently?
I think you got to go with the offensive line's pass blocking, and not just that, but the running back pass blocking, tight end pass blocking. It's not all just the line, but the pass blocking against the Jets was very, very terrible. They sacked our quarterbacks 8 times, and seeing Mariota get sacked really kind of probably set my life back 5 years.
The most shocking thing I saw out of game 1 was how poor they looked. Just like miscommunication and just poor execution. I mean, we gave up 8 sacks in that game, 1 to Mariota, 7 to Tanny. Sorry, Tanny, but I guess you must have done something to piss off the line and Derrick Henry, because he just straight out missed a blocker one time. But that was shocking to see in the first game, so I'm glad that they reined it in. Yeah. They reeled it in game 2.
Our line has really high expectations. They ended last year as one of the best in the league, and then they come out and have that performance against the Jets. So, I don't know. It was a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. We're good.
Wake up,
We're fine. We're fine.
And they woke up.
All right. Do you have any other redemption stories from game 1 to game 2?
I do. A guy one of our most high-profile signings in free agency, Logan Ryan, Super Bowl champion last year, savior to our secondary. That's what he was supposed to be. Played absolutely terrible in the first game. In fact, he even said that he would grade himself an F.
Yeah, he's an honest man. I respect that.
Second game, absolutely turned it around. He was playing great coverage. He also forced that fumble early, which led to a turnover, led to points. I like the turnaround I see in Logan Ryan, because he's going to be a veteran leader in that young secondary. I mean, a guy who's played with some of the top talent in the league. I like what he brings to the team, so it's good to show him. It was good to see him kind of redeem himself from his terrible Titans debut in game 1.
Yeah, just shaking off the rust, maybe.
Yeah.
He was still thinking about that Super Bowl victory.
He was probably still a little hungover from the Super Bowl night. What's something else that's started off bad, maybe not so bad? I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I would say, kind of, I guess, going with Logan Ryan, but the defense as a whole, against the Jets, we gave up the opening drive touchdown. Of course, Logan Ryan got burned on that super deep pass. And those were the only 7 points we gave up in the whole game against the Jets. But still, can't give up an opening drive touchdown. And what did we do against Carolina? Their first 3 possessions, can you give me 2 turnovers and 1 3-and-out? That, I believe that would be a formula for success, sir. I love the defensive turnaround that we came out with in game 2. They came out with some fire, something to prove. They're like, hey, we're not going to let this team march down the field and score a touchdown. I know Cam Newton wasn't playing, but still, we would have intercepted him too, right?
I mean, David Anderson is a very capable backup. He's seen that playing time in the past.
He's been in the league for a very long time. So.
Solid backup. So they looked hungry, man. They looked like they wanted. They even called themselves hunters. They're hunters now.
Hunter-gatherers?
No.
Just
Whoa, yes, they hunt and then they gather the football. They hunt the football. They hunt the player, they strip him, and then they gather the football.
I like it.
Hunter-gatherers.
I like this metaphor that they
Logan
use.
Ryan was the hunter, Kevin Byard was the gatherer.
So those were our redemption stories from game 2. Now I want to talk about some guys that are on the roster bubble, but they've been playing well, and they really might have a chance to make the roster, but they're still very much on the bubble. Caleb, you got anybody?
I got a name for you. A guy who's really been standing out, especially in the first few preseason games, Trey McBride. Not the receiver or receivers everyone had their eye on coming into the preseason, but he's definitely been the one that has been attracting the attention with his outstanding play. I mean, against Carolina, he had 4 catches for 73 yards. That was good enough to lead our team. He did have that huge drop that would have gone for a touchdown thrown by Matt Castle. But overall, I think he's definitely stood out. And, a lot of people are starting to question if he's been good enough to make the roster. I don't think a lot of people were even giving him a chance at first. But now he's playing so well. Does he have a chance?
Yeah.
Especially in a loaded group of receivers, a lot of kind of high-profile locks to make the roster, like Corey Davis, Eric Decker, Rashard Matthews, Taywan Taylor, who's just been balling, Tajay Sharp coming off the PUP list.
Yep.
You got Mr. Invaluable, Harry Douglas, and then we also have Eric Weems, who we just picked up to help in our special teams game. So it's crowded. It's crowded.
Very crowded.
Can Trey McBride, perform well enough, or has he performed well enough to make the roster?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
It's tough to say, and it's sad to say, too, that we're probably going to end up having to cut him. It's good, though. It's a good problem to have, that he's making it hard on the coaches. Like, dang, this guy could, really help the team, but there's no room for him because we were so good in this area.
This is definitely a problem we didn't have last year because we were super thin at receiver.
I think he's probably going to play for another team, if not for us.
All right, what else? What's another player, a bubble player that's standing out that has a chance to make the roster?
I got one for you, and I kind of found out more about this player after the game and reading some of the grades that he had been given. But Mr. Irrelevant from last year that we drafted, Kalen Reed, cornerback, he's graded as our best player after the first 2 preseason games, which is awesome. Kind of shocking, but you know what? When you play the cornerback position and you don't show up on the highlight film, that's probably a good thing. That means you're locking down your coverage. Receivers that you're covering aren't getting the ball thrown to. So you're doing your job, and Kalen Reed appears to be doing his job very well, and that's really encouraging to see. We can always use more defensive backs on this team, as we all know. That was a weakness last year. Well, that about wraps it up to where we are at this point in training camp, halfway through preseason. Caleb, tell me what are we looking at going forward now for the rest of the preseason?
Moving forward, I know we're all anxious to see Corey Davis play. He's had the hamstring issue, but they're saying that he is ahead of schedule and possibly going to play in our last preseason game. But yes. Mike Mularkey said he also doesn't want to rush him. He wants to make sure that he's ready for the start of the regular season. So possibly looking at him playing the last game or just holding him out to the regular season just to be safe. So can't wait to see him play. What's another thing coming up?
Another thing coming up for this next preseason game against Chicago. First of all, Mularkey told the team that they are going to be practicing this week as if it was for a regular season game because it is a noon game on a Sunday, so they're kind of getting that routine in. And as for the starters in that game, we've been told by Mularkey that the starters are going to play the entire half. Hopefully nobody gets hurt, though. Obviously, it's always a risk in preseason. We got wood in front of us, though, so we should be good.
Also, last but not least, no players were blinded by the solar eclipse, which passed through Nashville this year. So that means they must have had their, eclipse glasses on like we did.
Way to go. Yeah. Get them going with full functioning eyeballs. So good job. Good job, Titans. Way to be safe.
That's it for our midway through the preseason breakdown. I guess that's what we'll call it now. Sure. Let us know what you think of the team so far and all the points we mentioned, or is there anything we didn't mention?
Any players we probably missed? Because there's a lot of players.
A lot of players. Who do you think? Do you think Trey McBride's going to make the roster? Whatever. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure to subscribe and follow us on our social media accounts that will pop up in just 1 second. And don't forget to sign up for those fantasy leagues.
Hada hada hoo ha.
And make sure that in 2045 you wear your eclipse glasses so you don't get blinded.
Gradually, hopefully quicker rather than later, but quicker rather than later. Those aren't opposites.
Sooner rather than later.
I got it, man. Stop losing faith.
Let's talk about what we've learned so far. So,
he's been on some coverage plays. How do you say that?
Props to our prop linebacker. What am I trying to say? Oh, okay. Let me redo that.
For sure. Exactly. No, just totally exactly.
Totally. I find my true player biases. They come out during the show. I had nothing against Eric Williams until we started filming tonight. Now I hate him. See more consistency out of consistent Mularkey. I know.